Hi guys, this is Phil with We Heart Music Radio. We have here Arcade1Up cabinets, and they're little cabinets that you can get for your home, and a lot of like real arcade collectors really hate these machines, which I don't really understand because for the first time it's affordable. I mean, you can probably I got this for like $200 and this for 300. And for the first time, I'm actually really excited about just collecting arcade, and I think that you got to look at the bright side, where people who couldn't afford $3,000 for a real cabinet can get something cheap and affordable. And I'm actually didn't mind spending 200 on the Asteroid one. Asteroid's not one of my favorite games. I really like Tempest, which it kind of reminds me of Gyrus for the 360 thing. I don't like. I think universally nobody likes the spinner, which is it's not a free spinner, but it's a resisted spinner, I mean, obviously it doesn't spin, and nobody likes that. But I think it's fine. You can play it. What I wanted. Sorry, I'm concentrating here. So yeah, I mean, the real arcade guys really hate these machines, and I really don't understand it because, like I said, for the first time, somebody can just afford this, which is pretty amazing in my opinion. And I'm actually, like I said, I didn't love Asteroid. I think by the time I was in the arcades, these machines were not. Oh shoot. These machines weren't being rotated in arcades. Anyway, so what I wanted to mention is, oh God, I hate these. What was I talking about? So yeah, I was planning out actually to just mod this machine. I love the Street Fighter machine, and I probably couldn't mod this because it has the dedicated artwork, and to me it's always going to be the Street Fighter machine. This Asteroid one, I think what I was going to do is probably put a Pandora box or maybe a Raspberry Pi or something to that effect into this, because it actually comes with a monitor already. I was planning to replace this whole control board, and obviously so I didn't mind spending 200 on this because I was just gonna mod it anyway. So I think what I also wanted to mention is a lot of people also didn't understand why somebody would get this, and I already talked about the price point, which I think is it's expensive, but I think for what you get in, which is an experience of a arcade machine, I think it's just wonderful for the price point. You can for $200 get a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, which I have both anyway, and but I think for the money you get, it's just the experience. I mean, you can't duplicate this on a PlayStation 4. I mean, you can, but it's just not the same. Trust me. And the other thing is why somebody would want this is you might have nostalgia for some of these games. I mean, I don't have one for Asteroid, but somebody who is like a die-hard Asteroid fan would love this machine. Something else is I kind of consider it like art as well, because some people spend like $1,000 on a painting. It's to me this is on the same level where you got the marquee here, and you got just the artwork and everything. Like I said, I love it. A lot of people also mention how much problem they had with the machine where games aren't working correctly. I already talked about the crappy spinner here. You know, I didn't see it any problem with my units. The Street Fighter machine, I think eventually I'm going to replace the joystick. I really don't like the joystick that came with the machine, but you know, it's you can buy a replacement stuff for fairly cheap. It's not a big deal. The other thing is, what else? What else? You know, a piece of art. You can collect them for. You can also like. These are also officially licensed too. I don't know if that's something that's important to you, but a lot of these machines and game that you can buy online, they, you know, especially from China, they're all like, you know, 1,000 game in a system. Obviously not licensed, and to me, if you want to honor some of these games for the software engineer and stuff, these are officially licensed, and so you know, you can kind of know that part of that money that went into buying these cabinets are going to the original rights holder, which, you know, I support. What else? Yeah, just looking forward to just modding this, but I mean, I kind of love it, or just for Tempest alone. I tried playing some of the other games. They're really hard. A lot of these early games are just designed to steal your quarter, so they make it you know, very hard. As far as the Asteroid machine, all the games are vector graphics, which is, you know, if you ever play the Star Wars game from the 80s, it's like, it's very much, there's no details, it's just all, you know, lines of no, I don't know what, they're all lines of, there's no details, I mean, there's no, basically, they're all lines. Asteroid especially is just all white line, and you can get another unit with a 12-in-1 system. This is just the 4-in-1. I didn't pay much for it, but the reason why I didn't want to get the 12-in-1 is you see how the screen is widescreen. When you switch to another Atari game like Centipede, it goes 4:3, which is like the vertical landscape. So basically the screen gets a little smaller, and I actually didn't love that. So if you get something like a Galaga machine where it's like a 4:3, I mean a 3:4 format where it's vertical, which is how the original game was designed for, that would be great. Like, you know, there's another problem with those 12-in-1 units is you're paying more too, because you're getting more games. I also wanted to talk about the art rubbing off of the control panel. That is a problem. I think I was just I just did not understand how it got past inspection. That the paint they use can come off of basically a week of just general usage. On my Street Fighter machine, it's already rubbing off a bit. I did email them to have them send me a plastic overlay, which they do free of charge, which is awesome. But for the Asteroid, I'm not gonna do that because I was planning to replace this whole control board anyway. And but in the meantime, if you're interested, what you can get is something called wall safe tape, which is designed for putting on your walls. It's a clear tape, and you can just tape it in the area where you're going to be touching the control board. You're not going to be dressing the whole control board, just the area that you're going to touch with your hands. So I have it on this area here. So far it worked really great. I mean, I'm not rubbing off the paint. The other major problem with these machines are they're all mono stereo, which means they only have one audio channel basically. On older machines like Asteroid, it's great because I think before the invention of stereo, maybe it didn't matter much with the sound. And to be honest, the audio for the Asteroid is just terrible. We can take a look at the sound that it makes here. I mean, basically 4-bit sound. With something like Street Fighter 2, which uses both channel, it is a problem on the mix because the right, basically the right channel is gone. So player on the right. I'm going to turn off the volume. The volume on here is also terrible. It only give you 3 settings, like off, medium, and loud. And and it's really loud. Even on medium, it's really loud. I wish there was a slider where I can adjust. But what can you do, right? How did that? Yeah, so audio is a problem for modern machine, and I think you only seen a lot of these like early games that doesn't require mono, and I think that they can fix these modern machines with by mixing down the audio to just mono audio, or you can achieve it can be achievable, but for some reason the Street Fighter like Turbo didn't do it, and so the person playing on the right side of the board they're not hearing some of the nuance of the audio that's supposed to be there. So audio that was a big problem, the mono. But like I said, these machines were really designed with one design, which is the mono. I think it is fine on older machines, older games. But anyway, but yeah. So I hope this kind of helps if you're planning on getting one. They're so small that you can fit like 2 or 3 of these in your room. I think at prices were a little better, like about $200 each. I'll probably get a complete set of these first generation Arcade1Up. Very happy with my my machines. Like I said, I do see a lot of people having a problem, and they do have a quality control problem. But with these machines that I have, they're great. I really couldn't see any problem with them, besides from my gripes of being mono audio and some of the controls. But you can live with it. It's it's fine. What else? Yeah, so if you see for 200 or I mean even for 300, I think for 300 for Street Fighter, I think that's worth it. That's a game that when I was playing in the arcade really changed the way I saw a video game. Prior to Street Fighter, you didn't have like 6 buttons. There's so many buttons, and then the graphics were amazing. The sound was just amazing. That it was really kind of brought into this genre of like this fighting game, and so yeah, I mean I have a lot of a great nostalgia for Street Fighter, and I own Street Fighter on on pretty much every platform that I have. That and Tetris, and I mean Street Fighter is just a great game. I think 300 I think that was a very fair price for the Championship Edition. I also wanted to mention that when these were originally announced, they were like $500 as a retail price, and at 500 I was like, wow, that's a little too much. But for some reason, I think Walmart just announced their price to 300. That a lot of these like GameStop decided that they were going to bring the price down to match Walmart. So in some way, Walmart actually is I'm thanking Walmart for bringing down the prices. 300, I think, is a fair price for what you're getting. You have to remember that these cabinets, if you buy them by itself, are you can get these kits online. They're going to be priced about $300, $400 for just the wood. You don't even get a screen with it, or a control board or games. It's just a bare bone cabinet, and then you put it together, and then you provide your own screen and so forth. If you are planning to mod these machine, and I have looked online on how to do this, it seems fairly simple. You basically the monitor's running off like a ribbon cable. So what you need to do is a lot of modern 12 in one, or 2000 games in one system uses HDMI for like just modern convenience. So what you can do is you can get a HDMI to like a ribbon video controller board, and once you get that, you basically just hook it up to your Pandora box or Raspberry Pi, and basically you can run. You can use the screen for that. As far as sound, since that is one of my major problem with it, I would probably have to get stereo speakers to put it into these cabinets. But that's just down the line. I mean, so far I think I'm happy enough with basically Tempest and Street Fighter that it's not a big deal, and there's no rush for me to run out to mod it. But eventually, I do want to swap this out for something else. Yeah, so I think the next machine I'm probably gonna get is Galaga or Pac-Man. I have my eye on both of those machines. Pac-Man for basically just the artwork, just amazing artwork with the yellow, classic yellow with the red trim, and then with Galaga, that's just a game that like I just love from the 80s or 90s, and it's not a great game. I actually tried playing it recently, and it's that and Gyrus, and they're both great, but I think it may be different if you actually have the cabinet. There is, if you look online, there is somebody who hacked the actual board of these machines the board actually has certain types of game pre-installed on the board, and you do need to access the board with a keyboard, and from the keyboard you can set settings to load up some of the other games. But like I said, that's just a little beyond my thing, because it requires soldering and like cutting up your like a USB cable and so forth. Not something I'm actually that interested in doing, but I mean, it's basically a lot of some of these games, like I'm assuming the Street Fighter Championship Edition actually has Mortal Kombat built into the board, because if a lot of people open up these machines have looked into the board saying that it's basically compatible with both games on the actual board. So anyway, I hope that helps you on trying to, if you're thinking about buying these machines. I recommend it. I mean, if the other thing is you have to factor in the cost of getting a riser for these things. If you plan on playing it stand up, the riser is going to set you back about $40 on Walmart. There's different prices at different Walmarts too. I've seen it for $45 at a different Walmart, and to save $5, I basically drove to another location, like I said, I think they're trying to clearance them out by one of the rumors, probably after Christmas. A lot of Walmart who might have an excess of inventory will try clearance these out for about $200 or less. At the moment, if you're interested in getting the Asteroid machine for $200, which I recommend if you just want to mod it, or if you just enjoy Tempest or Asteroid, or major havoc. You can go to Walmart and look it up on your phone, and your phone is going to tell you it costs $200. You can bring it to any Walmart store, and they will price match it for their own website. And it's something kind of silly, but I mean it's basically Walmart is selling these machines for $200, but if you go to the store, it's $300. So. But anyway, they'll price match it, and that's how I actually ended up kind of accidentally buying the Asteroid machine. Anyway, hope that helps.